Good afternoon guys, welcome back to the channel. Chris Dennis here, putting specialist and short game performance coach. So today we're back in the studio, we're going to be doing a little bit of putting, and what I want to do today is go through one of the key points of putting, only just, that a lot of people miss out on, they don't know about most of the time because it's not really talked about, and that's affecting them with the distance control, with holing more putts, but mainly with the distance control. And what we're talking about is your angle of attack, so the way that you hit up on the ball or if you hit down onto the golf ball. So very much like when you're hitting a driver, if you hit more down on a driver, that's going to create more backspin, so it's going to shoot it up higher and it's not going to go as far as you want. The opposite then, obviously as we know, people might try and hit up on the driver, not have enough loft, and the ball just dips out of the sky. So if you're somebody who hits the James Robinson, the snap hook, your path's going to be working out to the right, the face is closed, and that will have a lot of top spin, and it just goes up and quick to the left. It's the same with putting. So for your distance control, we need to get that ball rolling as soon as possible, under control, so we know how far that's going to go. So if we're hitting down and we put backspin on, if you've got a 30-foot putt, you might come up 8 feet short one time. So then on the next hole, you then give it a little bit more, you then hit it 8 feet past, 2-3 putts back to back. You've done the hard work to get to the green, but then on there, you're not sure what you're doing. So we're going to hit some putts now, and I'm going to show you on cap toe what effect that has. So it's here, so it's where the putter is working, whether it's working up. Then we've got to see what kind of loft we have on your putter, because most of the time people don't know you do have loft. The average is around about 3 degrees, and that's to help the ball get out of the little indent that it's sat in. But if we're hitting up and taking some loft off, that will get the ball rolling quicker. If it gets it rolling more effectively, as a result, you're not going to have to make as much of a backswing. And as a result, there's less that can go wrong. The shorter the stroke, the more compact and more efficient, the less that can go wrong. And that should help us save a lot of putts. And it'll help you hole putts, but this is for all of us, when we hit it to 30 feet, getting out of there with 2 putts, because a lot of the times we have 3 putts, that adds the score up. As a result, then we're shooting 85 instead of 80, for example, whereas if we stop 4 or 5 3 putts, it's then very quickly down to 80 without doing much except for this drill that I'm going to give you. So let me load cap toe up now. We'll get some numbers. We'll show you when you hit down, how it puts backspin on and how much energy you lose. And then we'll try and do a drill that's going to encourage you to hit slightly up on that and get the ball rolling. So let's load it up. Okay, so we're loaded up on cap toe now. So I'm using my Scotty Cameron. So what we're going to look at now is how, if we hit down onto the golf ball, what that's going to have an effect on how much energy is lost. So a lot of the times I'll see people hit down on the ball, and that's the reason why they struggle with the pace control, like I said. So let's hit a few now. So often what I see here, people will have the ball position back, they'll hit down into it. Didn't register, always the case when we need it to. So again, they'll get on here, it's back in the stance, it's very much a stab motion. And what they'll do is they'll hit down into that ball. They might hold the putt like that one there, it started on line, but you could see even that was going in with some pace, because I'm trying to exaggerate it here. But you'll see there, I've hit 8.3 down. Again, the arc as into impact was then 13 degrees down, and as a result I've lost nearly 26% of the energy. So on that there, if we go into this, it will show you that I've lost 18.5% of that energy of the 27 as a result of backspin. I also hit on the toe slightly, so that's taken some off. So it's taken into effect everything that I've done. Toe strike, but mainly I've hit down into that. And that's what I see a lot. So when people hit down into the ball, they drag the putter across and they start to stab the putter. I see a lot of people who will stab it and try and get it to go a distance. Other people, they'll hit down, but they'll have a lot of movement into that putt. So they'll be back in the stance, they'll be hitting, and they'll be chasing the putt before they've even hit it, and then they wonder why it doesn't start on line and the pace control is very inconsistent. So again, here I'll do the same example. So back in the stance, but now someone who has a lot of turn. Classic, doesn't get it again. Let's get that set. Good. So again, back in the stance, a little bit of turn. So not as much down there, but I've still hit 7 degrees down into impact, and I've lost 22% of energy. So you can see we're only there on a short putt, but even those motions, I'm hitting it quite a lot past. And if that links to you, if you think, oh, that's very similar to what I do, then have a think about that. Think, right, if I'm hitting down, that's why my pace control's not as good. As a result, I'm having a lot of 3 putts. Right, let me work on that. And it's something that people don't work on. So obviously you don't get told about this, you don't think about it. You think, oh, keep the putter low, leave the putter, get it going, let it go straight back. You think about all the myths and certain words that you hear, which golf is pretty bad for. You hear words and you just relate it to something. But here, we've got to think you're still going to put backspin on this ball potentially if you are hitting down, and that's the reason why. And we've got a nice simple drill here for you to be able to fix that. And I'm going to be doing a series now going through different aspects of putting. So here with Capto, we're going to be using things that can help you with your path, things that can help you with your face control, and starting to give you a drill every week that if you think that's what's happening to you, you can go and work on that. Obviously, it's not going to necessarily work for everybody, because if you've got some funky moves, we all see some funky moves with the arms, then it might not work straight away. You might need a lesson, but these are drills that are going to be effective. You can do on the putting green for 5 minutes before you go out, or at home. I know we're back on the golf courses now, but whilst you're at home, you can also practice this just so you know that you're doing things correctly. And if we're doing things correctly, like I say, we're going to hole more putts, distance control even is going to become better, and it's going to lower your scores. And the goal of anything is to lower your scores in the most easiest of ways. If we can get this putting stroke more compact and consistent, you could easily quickly knock 4 or 5 strokes off your scores, and that's the main thing. Again, if you hit a driver 5 yards further, it's not necessarily going to save your shots. It might leave you 5 yards further in the trees. So let's have a look at the drill now. All you're going to need is 2 coins, which is the famous last words, because I did have 2 coins. Well, I currently have 1. So I'll get another coin now, and what we're going to do is you're going to need 2 coins, so get 2 50p pieces, 2 20p pieces, and all we're going to work on now is putting those on top of each other and making some strokes where I'm just going to catch the top coin, knock that off, as well as we can do it without a ball to start with, which is what we're going to do. Then we're going to bring the ball in with the drill and see how it affects our numbers. So if we can get hitting up on the ball, what's that going to do to the energy lost? And then you'll start to see how it is going to be effective and how it's an easy drill that you can do at home. So let me grab 2 20p pieces. So nice and easy, I've set up the 2 50p pieces now on the floor, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to make some strokes. So get into my setup, make sure everything's normal, so putter in the middle of the stance, wet my weight slightly left like I would be at normal setup, and then from there I've made a stroke there. I've caught the top coin, the bottom coin has stayed where it is, and Capto luckily did pick it up. So angle of attack is around about 0 there, so 0.4 up, so that's drastically changed it straight away, and it has picked up the energy loss even though it was a coin, not a ball. And I've only lost 1.3% of energy. So obviously there, the stroke that I've put on it, the ball is, the energy is transferred onto the ball, so I'll then be able to be consistent. It might come up slightly short, it might just get there, but it's still going to be a tap-in, which is a 2-putt. So all I would do now is back on, nice and easy, and I will have a zoom in so you will be able to actually see this close up. But my putter sits behind just as if it was a ball. Get comfortable, and then from there, make the stroke. Good. There we go, so I've hit up on that one, I move the coin, I've hit perfectly 0.6 up, it's saying there, okay, energy loss there, 11.1%, but I hit that off the heel, so it did pick up that I struck the coin off the heel. So again, very effective here from Capto, and that's giving me the feedback of why I've lost some energy. So obviously we've got to have a centered strike, but we also now we're getting away from the thing that we're working on, which is hitting up on the ball, not hitting down onto the ball. For the toe strikes, later on, we'll have some more drills for that. So all I'm going to do now is nice and easy. I'm going to pop the ball and get the ball to rest on the 50 pence. So it is slightly higher, but I'm going to now hit this putt and try and not catch that coin. So again, into my setup, make sure that it says normal. Then we're going to hit this putt. So good roll. There we go. We've hit 2 degrees up on that putt, and I've lost 1.8% of energy. So you can see straight away there, I've been able to turn that around to hitting up on that, going from losing nearly 26% when I hit down to hitting nicely up on it and only losing 1.8. So that would be a tapping. Again, it rolled great. So that was a good stroke. So when you're doing this practice, it's very much trial and error for yourself. If you're somebody who sets up, and for example, your ball position is back, like we discussed, if your ball position is back, then that is going to encourage you to hit down and you'll hit both coins. So from there, you can start to have a little bit of trial and error. Right, if I move my ball position forwards a little bit, is that going to help? Because you'll also have people, and this is where obviously every drill doesn't work for everyone, and that's where sometimes you do need a lesson, but there might be some people who have the putter back in the stance, the ball back in the stance, and because over time they've been able to adjust and compensate really, you might be somebody who moves the putter back and then falls back. And you'd be hitting up on the ball, but you'd be hitting up on the ball with a lot of loft. So you'd still be putting backspin on there. Maybe if you see your ball jump first and have a few bobbles on your longer putts, you're adding too much loft. So you might be somebody who's falling back, catching it low on the face, having backspin and being inconsistent. So just this drill here will really start to give you some feedback of, okay, if I make sure that the putter's in the middle, the coins are just in front, when I make that stroke, I can just catch that top coin. And if we catch the top coin, he didn't pick that one up, but like I say, we're going to be able to manage that distance and hopefully get you to improve. So guys, comment below what kind of drills, what ones do you want me to look at next? Obviously, we're going to look at your path, we're going to be looking at your face, we're going to be looking at all different things of how the lie of the putter works and how you can test that out. And it's just to give you a better understanding of putting, because unfortunately there's a lot of stuff on YouTube that might not help you. They say it's going to help you, but at some point, you know, these drills are good. It gives you a little bit more understanding. Hopefully I've explained it good enough or well enough for you. But sometimes you might need a lesson, but if you can have a better understanding when you do go for that lesson, you can start to single in on what you need to work on, because it shouldn't be a case of that you need to go for lessons every week or every couple of weeks. You should be able to self-correct yourself on the course. Then after the first hole, if you do miss one, you can fix yourself by the second, and then you can still enjoy your other 17 holes. So guys, hopefully you've enjoyed that. I will be back again on Sunday with another golf in 99 seconds. But as for now, I'll see you then.